this is Pigsy. Just about to shoot a video, just get everything set to go really. Right up behind the camera. There we go. Yeah, so it's a bit of a strange experience earlier. You might as well say it's a phantom car, because I was driving to go to a client's property somewhere out in Sticks, and I noticed this car, and it's as dark as it is now, and the car didn't have its lights on. And I mean, I've got my lights on now, so I don't know what it was like. It's probably like that, you know. So it's not really, I mean, you can't really see much anyway, to be honest with that, but that was just me trying to demonstrate. So the car was driving through an area that was pitch black, doesn't have any street lighting, has basically cat's eyes, and a sign saying, also on the road marking saying slow down and things like that. But it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark as it is here. So I was thinking, what kind of a person would be driving in the dark like that? You know, could the actual person? I mean, I spoke to someone. I said, yeah, maybe they're on drugs or something, but they didn't seem that bothered. I mean, their skills weren't that bad on the road. Could they be reptilian? I mean, are they possibly Lyran or something? You know, who's got the ability to see in the dark? Because with windy roads and so on, the chance of actually having a collision is way high, really. It's just madness. It's just madness. Because I watched the person, they went all the way down the road, and the only time we turned the lights on, they basically, I couldn't see any of the back lights on the vehicle as it was flying along. I think as it went round the roundabout, I didn't have any lights on either, because I followed it, but most of the same route. But it went off at a certain point, and that's when the lights come on the vehicle, because it waited in the road and indicated its direction. And yeah, that was the only time we'd done that. So basically, whatever the person was doing, they're very conscious of their actions. I don't think they're on drugs, because they stopped, turned the lights on, made the manoeuvre, and probably turned it back off again. It's probably pretty freaky as well if you were driving down the road and the car, you suddenly notice a car, like you've got a car coming up here. If it had come down the road without lights on, you'd be like, what the fudge? You know, whatever. So yeah, that's quite freaky. Other areas of research, there's a new law I think I've discovered, and it's the law of least resistance, and it's the law that governs the universe. Now that might seem like, well, that's obvious, isn't it? You know, like water chooses the quickest path to go a certain way. But it governs the whole earth as well. So I was thinking about what it actually is, what it means in reality. I was watching someone trying to prove about flat Earth, and you know, I don't know the exact shape of the Earth. I must admit, the moon looks like it's egg-shaped, and that varies. And it's like the sun at certain points of the day varies in size, but that's probably just to do with. Well, that's a good point. Is the atmosphere actually magnifying things? When I look in a straight line, I mean, across the horizon, is everything out there magnified? Because I can't see it so well, and that's because we live in a simulation. I call it the actualator, only because it's the actual reality we exist in. The other reality outside of that is somewhat so different. It's not a kind of replication of what we are now in this paradigm. It's somewhere else. It's like the place of where jinn go, and you know, into the paranormal, where you go into a different dimension. You could probably look at the world through a kind of lens, but not actually be there. So it's like no different when you play a computer game and you're looking at it on the monitor. You can sort of float around and move in and out of realities, but you can't affect it. I was wondering about certain entities like greys. Are they the watchers? Is that why they stand around watching what people do and learning stuff? On my previous video, there's a picture, and I showed something is reflected in my glass in my window in my car, and I'm in it. But I basically enhanced the size of it and looked at it carefully. It's got features of a face, non-human one, I might add, and the other thing with like these the grey entities, they've got nose, they've got a mouth, they've got a very small mouth, and very sort of slitty nose. But it's all there, and so if you've got them kind of features, it means you've got certain senses, and it suggests you probably eat. But it looked like his mouth was wide open, so it's like a scream mask. So that's real freaky. But the only thing is, I mean, where I was located, it was a brick wall and a blacked out sort of garage, and there's nothing else there. There's nothing I know out there could generate that image. So I think they're kind of these bots, or they're working within this reality. There may be some other intelligence. Maybe I'm seeing them because I am one of them. You know, it might be I just happen to be test driving this human body for an experience, for an upgrade or something. Maybe you got to play the game in order to win. You know, it's that kind of sort of situation. And there's thoughts about what is the simulation of what is reality. And going back to my point about the least resistance, so the Earth looks flat. The Earth looks flat because that's the least resistance for perception. But in space, the least resistance is for it to be a big ball, because then you're not seeing any gaps in the simulation. You know, basically, whatever you throw at it, it's going to try to throw back an answer. And you couldn't probably handle it. If you found out using a cube and out behind it, underneath it was just blankness, you know, or it was just like some matrix. And the other thing, if you saw the gaps in it, you'd see the glitches. And if you see the glitches, there's ways to break into the system. And we don't really want that. Well, it's alright to edit reality, but I don't want someone trying to crash it. I don't want someone trying to, you know, like I was thinking back to, I made a comment on some. On basically YouTube, someone's you know, information about flat Earth, because he wasn't looking at possibly cubic measurements. He was looking at like diagonal line across this part of the Earth, and then if I go up the side, you know, it's less distance. And when actually at an angle, it's probably the same distance. And then there's also how you preview your perception of reality. You know, like if you stood on the side of a square and two people stood at the end, each corner, you wouldn't see the person in the straightest line in front of you any really different from the person who's over to the corner on the right hand side. I know this is a massive distance in a square, that is. It's because your brain would perceive that and make the necessary allowances for it. But they would actually, one of the people would be a greater distance. Correct. Or maybe not so much in a square, maybe it's a rectangle. There you go. Yeah, because they had rectangular measurements, so the actual diagonal length was longer than the width and the length, creating something else. So yeah, anyway, the point is the perception of the way reality isn't necessarily how it actually is. Got a bit of a dry cough, so you have to excuse me. Road of least resistance, but I think if you want to be successful in life, least resistance, go for the best road. I mean, you obviously try harder, you have to be willing to make sacrifices or changes to achieve what you want. It doesn't have to be hard if you put yourself in the right position. Simply that the right things will manifest if they're the easiest as well, and just keep focus on that goal. So yeah, that's how different models of reality all work together. Because it's a simulator, and it's also least resistance, so it's the thing that you can perceive the best and works the best in your simulated conscious reality, because that's what part of it is, just keep you under the illusion that science only works within a spectrum. If that spectrum changes, then everything changes. Anyway, this is Biggie signing off. It's good to speak to you.